evening.
Test 1, 2.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I think Julia's mic is this mic working? Am I on now?
They said she can hear. You can hear.
Her mic.
I can hear you.
Is mine working? Can you guys hear me?
Hear it.
All right. Okay. Good evening. Hello? I don't
Hi.
feel like it.
It's on.
Okay, all right.
There you go.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
You're back.
Thank you for your patience. Good evening. Julia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can definitely hear you. Thank you.
Okay, then. Excellent. All right, I call to order the meeting of the Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee on Thursday, June 5th, 2025 at 7:08 PM. And I invite you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I'm pleased to say that we get to start off this evening by recognizing our student government representatives. Mr. Tracy?
Thank you very much. So each year, the class presidents of each of the 4 classes at the high school, sometimes alternates, come to our meetings one time a month. They rotate through. So they spend some time with their class officers, fellow class officers, digging up the information that's occurred over the last 3 to 4 weeks and compile a report and come here and deliver it to us one time a month so that the public has a good idea of what's actually happening within the schools. So annually we like to recognize our student representatives, so all the liaisons. We have 3 out of the 4 here tonight. One's at a game, I think it's still going. But I'll announce them all anyway, but we'll have them come up. We have a beach towel, get you ready for the beach, and a Starbucks gift card. So I have Emmy Pitkin, Whitney Fitzgibbons, Anderson Kraft, and then Evie Bernard. Evie's at a lacrosse game. I'm just trying to tie these here. Okay, this one's Anderson's. Emmy, this one's yours. Yeah, congratulations.
Congrats.
Thank you all very much for your time and
Thank you.
digging up all that information. We really appreciate it.
Thank you all for all the time and effort that you put in. We are so appreciative. Thank you.
Fastest school committee meeting for them ever.
Wonderful. I wanted to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed on HWCAM. And I also wanted to just note that for the evening, we have one member who is participating remotely, Julia Campbell, and so we will be taking all votes via roll call. And next up, we have an opportunity for citizens' comments. Mr. Tracy, just so I know, do we have anyone on Zoom who's offering a citizen's comment?
We do not.
Okay.
We do not.
So the time for citizens' comments is an opportunity for the citizens to, it's an opportunity for you to be heard. It's a time for you to speak and for us to listen. If you choose to speak, we'll ask that you approach the podium. And please give us your name and make sure that you spell your last name so that we get it correct for the minutes. I will ask Amy if she'd be willing to time for us. I ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. And we'll let you know when you have about 30, Amy will let you know when you have about 30 seconds left. And I think I covered everything. If there's anyone in the room that'd like to offer a comment, please step forward to the podium.
Good evening, Bob Knowles.
201 Main Street, and that's Knowles. And I am a founding member of the Hamilton Wenham Climate Action Team, which 2 years ago, through Hamilton's citizen vote, approved a zero carbon by 2040 mandate, as well as the select board in Wenham, which did it 2 years ago. So we've got everyone has a zero carbon by 2040 mandate. So I'm here just quickly to say, I was at the transportation competitive bid opening Tuesday. Vinny, thanks for all your work. Eric, thanks for all your work as well on that. And two simple things that I wanted to say is encouraging you to go with the 10-year contract, which would convert 17 fossil school buses to electric school buses. That's number one. And number two, I would encourage you, if it's at all possible, not to wait until June 26th to do that. And the sooner the better, even in the next week or two, if that's even possible. Because there's an enormous amount of capital that would need to be deployed by either of the two companies that you select in order to begin this process to actually purchase these buses and have them operating, hopefully by the time school starts. So there may be a phased-in approach to all this, which would make sense. So that's it. I really just want to encourage two things: to go with that 10-year contract. Let's keep the zero carbon by 2040 mandate going forward and have the regional school districts and all 5 schools do their part to make that happen. For the Hamilton Environmental Impact Committee, the Wenham Climate and Sustainability Committee, and my group, the Hamilton Wenham Climate Action Team. So thanks very much. Really appreciate all your work on that. And we did win a very large grant as well from US EPA. The school district did. So we would obviously leverage that grant as well.
30 seconds.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. There are other people that like to make a comment. It doesn't appear that we have anyone on Zoom, so and the room can just keep going.
Hi, Dolly Galante, 430 Chabaco Road in Hamilton. I am just trying to see if I can possibly, one last time, I've been asking questions in this type of forum, and I've also asked online in the regular posts regarding the building of the building on the property where the wetland, not wetland situation is. Just to back up, I work for a construction company, general contractor. All we do is municipal work. Police, fire, libraries, town halls, so on and so forth. So I have a pretty good idea of bid processes once you start trying to get, your subcontractors coming in with their pricing. My question has been, can the school be built on land that's wet? 100%. You can build anywhere if you have enough money to make sure you do everything the proper way. My question is, with talking with the owner of my company and 2 project managers about the water, what depth they found it at, how big this building that's going on, they said it certainly can be done, but the pylons, the poolings, the aquifer, the things that have to be done in order to make sure a building this magnitude is built on it and then does not sink, it is a minimum of at least $30 million for that. Just that. And what I have been trying to ask is this in the budget? This is that many millions of dollars put aside for that. I've been, go look here, go look here. Everybody's telling, and I do. I find nothing, nowhere, that actually says any quotes for anything has been brought in yet, anything, and that this money is not actually allocated within this 142. And that's a minimum of $30 million. So this has change orders, overrides already before it's even started, unless somebody can say, oh, yes, we know it's going to cost this much money, and it's in there, and it is set aside, we have allocated for that. I have not seen anywhere anything in writing or directly from anybody, yes, we're accounting for that.
30
and we have
seconds.
and we have the money for that. That's what I'm looking for, because this is big. It is a big, big ask. This is huge on taxpayers. I understand the benefits on one side. That's not my argument. My argument is we're being given this process with this amount of money, and I'm asking, like, it's not going to be enough, or is it?
It's 3
Is
minutes.
that money, these millions of dollars, set aside for the water issue?
It's 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Anybody? Got an
So
answer?
I'm not sure whether you have spoken before at our meeting, but as I said, this is an opportunity for public to make comments and speak. It's not a question and answer. The committee is always happy.
I would take just one word.
So
I would love for him to just say,
those.
yes, we have the money.
The people that, I know that this is a frustrating, but that's why I said at the beginning, we are happy to respond. People
So
can write us
probably need to
emails.
put that in writing,
So,
and so the school committee
thank you.
can respond to that. That's what I would suggest. Beth Herr, 270 Asbury Street, HERR. I just wanted to bounce off what she just said. If in fact it is not in the budget for that water, then I would, if the consolidation were to come before the town and we were to pass it, I believe it should be on the Hill, and we should just get portable classrooms, because I can't imagine that that would be $30 million to build on the Hill, which we already know works, building on the Hill. I just would never build on the Hill. So I had talked to a neighbor who lived by, she was a direct abutter to the Cutler School, and she lived there for over 5 decades. So I'm going to read a statement that she wrote and signed, and then I will email it to you. To whom it may concern, I lived on the corner of Asbury and Woodland Mead for over 5 decades. Years ago, Woodland Mead was a dirt road. On the other side of Woodland Mead, there was a stream running parallel to the dirt road from Asbury Street through the current baseball field to where the current baseball field is located on the Cutler School property. So I know that people have said that there wasn't water issues. I'm just giving you, this is someone who was a town clerk in Hamilton for a very long time. She's a very trusted and respected citizen, so I will send you a copy of this letter, but I think it is important to be considered. And like I said, if we have a consolidated school, I think it should be built on the Hill, and we should take the extra, even if it costs extra money, I think it's a wiser move. Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
Okay, do we have any other comment? Okay, and there's still no one on Zoom?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you all. I am always appreciative of citizens that are paying attention and willing to come and make comments. So thank you for that. At this time, I'm going to close the public comment portion of the meeting. And next up, oh, I don't think I handed out and asked, did I? Did I? I don't know. We'll see. Okay. You guys can fight over it. Next up is a portion of the school committee protocols. David?
As elected members of the Hamilton-Wenham Regional School Committee, we, including the superintendent, accept the high honor and trust that has been placed in us to ensure that the students of the district receive the best education possible. To that end, we hereby commit to the following in the conduct of our business. Number 3, the school committee will establish a vision, create policy, approve a budget, and assure accountability to sustain continuous improvements in teaching, learning, and facilities. Members agree to leave the day-to-day operations, including business transactions, to the superintendent and staff. Members of the school committee recognize that authority rests only within the majority of its decisions.
Thank you. Next up is a portion of the mission statement. Amy?
The Hamilton Wenham Regional School District School Committee's mission is to ensure our schools create graduates with a passion for lifelong learning together with the critical skills needed to maximize their potential. The Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee will lead and inspire a district that is a source of civic pride and municipal engagement to serve the community for generations to come.
Thank you. Julia, how are you doing on hearing?
I'm hearing.
Okay, good, just making sure.
Sorry, I muted my microphone.
No, I'm glad, I just wanted to make sure you could hear. Next up is the consent agenda. I have a couple things that I want to hold. I'm going to ask to hold the Ed Fund mini grant on environmental science and the Taiwan field trip. Do other people have anything else they'd like to have held from the consent agenda?
Nope.
All right, David, when you're ready.
Which Ed Fund mini grant, the first one?
The environmental science, it's about 2, 3, 4 down.
Yeah. Excuse me. I move that the Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee accept the consent agenda as presented in tonight's agenda, with the exceptions of the Ed Fund mini grant for the environmental science research equipment and the field trip to Taiwan.
Second.
Julia?
Yes.
Dana's yes. Amy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And the motion passes of the 4 members, unanimously of the 4 members present. Okay, so I wanted to just ask a quick question, Eric, about the environmental science. It looked fantastic. I
Yeah.
thought it was awesome. I was just intrigued about, I didn't know, it seems like it's a co-run course with Southern New Hampshire University, is that because of the grant, or, I just wanted to make sure I understood about the course.
No, we've been moving towards dual enrollment for kids so that they can get opportunity to gain college credits while they're still in high school. And several of the local high schools have paired with SNHU, either bringing in SNHU faculty or sharing or having courses approved for college credit. So that's the direction we're going with several of our courses. This is what we're hoping to be the first, kind of leading the way to make that connection for dual enrollment. We've had dual enrollment. This is where we're trying to make it specifically connected to a pathway, which is the direction you'll see the state is going to begin to go with different pathways over the next 4 or 5 years. So we're trying to kind of get a jump on it. We're actually behind several other schools in the area, but that's what it's all about.
I guess thank you for that, that was helpful. I just want to make sure I understand, though, is the grant, like, would the course exist without the grant?
No, because you need the equipment to be able to give the kids the college credit.
So I
the
guess my
support
question then is, how does it, like, is this like a pilot that, like, in other words, what happens next year?
So,
or the following year?
Yep, we would have the environmental science class, which would be considered, quote, connected to SNHU. They approve our syllabus and approve it for kids to gain college credit. So once we get kids into the course, we need to have certain levels of equipment to gain that college credit. So that's what this helps us to do.
Okay, so
to
the
bring it up to
equipment,
speed.
the equipment is not just a one-year thing?
No,
That was what I was trying to ask,
no.
okay.
This is
okay.
long-term. This is, some of it's heavy-duty equipment.
All right, no, that's what I just wanted to make sure I understood. So the course will be, once we get the foundational equipment, the course will be able to continue on for more
Correct,
years?
correct.
That's what I was asking,
Yep.
okay. Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions on that one? I don't know. Okay,
Yeah, it's kind of our first dip into the water with the dual enrollment. We want to get a few more courses up and
yeah,
running,
no,
so
I
you'll
was.
see more coming.
I was all for it, I just wanted to make sure it was,
Yep.
we weren't getting ourselves into something that was only going to exist for 1 year. Do you want to make a motion on that?
I move that the Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee accept the Ed Fund mini grant as presented in tonight's, for the environmental science research equipment as presented in tonight's agenda.
Second.
Second by Amy Kunberger. Is there any further discussion? All right, David?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Dana's a yes. Julia?
Yes.
Okay, and the motion, that is unanimous of the 4 members present, and the motion passes. The next item that I held was the Taiwan field trip. I just had a few sort of like logistical questions.
Yeah.
It's a whole year away.
Yep.
What, I have,
This is the second time we're running it. too.
yeah, what grades?
8, 11, and 12.
Okay, so it's middle schoolers as well.
Yeah, because it runs on a 2-year cycle, some kids are in a grade level where they would miss it all the way through. So we're trying to give kids the opportunity.
Okay.
We're also trying to fill 24 seats so that we can keep the cost where it's at. If we don't have 24 seats, it gets cost prohibitive.
Okay. And I don't know if other people, I have a couple questions. I don't know if other people have a couple questions. So what provisions are there, or are there any provisions for financial aid if students,
Yep, always
It's a very
provisions for
expensive
field trips. Yep, always opportunities for financial aid, financial assistance, both through, the trip planners, if you will, and also through the school.
okay.
Yep.
Just noting that there's a little checkbox for that didn't get checked off.
Oh,
on
sorry,
the
yes, there is. Yep.
Application,
Yep.
that's why I'm asking.
Any of our field trips, we would make sure that kids had the opportunity.
And then, I know it's a whole year away, but what, I mean, I was on the committee when we had to cancel when COVID occurred.
Yep.
And various world situations can change. Like, so, if we approve this now, then when is the actual, when do they actually sort of give the thumbs up go? Is that
They'll start recruiting kids in the fall.
in the fall?
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
All right.
And
I
we can do
assume
what we
there's
did
some kind
last
of
time.
Insurance, if
Yeah, there is an option to purchase the insurance. We encourage every student, because we've had that happen before where trips got.
hypothetically, say a worldwide pandemic.
Yes, some type
Not
of
that that would
pandemic
happen.
occurs, yeah, so the kids do have the opportunity to add insurance. It's fairly inexpensive. The other thing is, the last time we approved this, and I would suggest we do this the same way if people are comfortable, approve it pending a review 30 days or 45 days before they leave, because we know in global, the environment changes over time. So right now, it's a level 1, which is a safe place to go, according to the U.S. government, but we don't know what it'll be like in a year or 10 months, so.
Well, that was exactly my point, is that's exactly my
Yep.
point, is that
We
this
did that
seems-
last time.
we haven't voted on it,
Mm-hmm.
but speaking for myself, this seems fine to me right now. I don't know next February
Exactly.
what I'll think about that.
Yep.
Okay. Is that you're anticipating bringing it back, or we would need to vote on it that way?
I would vote on it pending review at least, 30 days before or 45 days before.
And
'Cause
I can look to the committee, I mean, I'm going to look to you, David, to make a motion, and you can choose to make the motion
And then I add
how
it to
you
the work
want.
plan so we don't lose it.
And what?
And then I'll add it to the
Yeah.
work plan so we don't lose it,
Yeah.
so.
I mean, and that's, again, that was just me asking a question.
Yep.
Maybe other people don't have the same concerns.
No, I think
we
that's a
should
good,
maybe plan to review it the second meeting in February or the first meeting in March, so people have enough time to do what they need to do.
Oh, I'm just wondering
Maybe sooner than that.
just how to word it.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys can approve whatever I say. Should I do 45 days, or should I just do in March?
Maybe say at least 45 days.
At least 45 days.
Yeah, that way we
Yeah.
have
Yeah, all right.
flexibility, yeah.
Turn the fan back on.
Excuse me. I move that the Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee approve the Taiwan 25-26 school year trip as presented in tonight's agenda, pending review at least 45 days prior to the scheduled departure date.
Second.
Second by Amy Kumberger. Is there further discussion on this item? All right, looks like we're ready to vote. Julia, just so you know, Jen has joined us.
Like 3 trips next year, I think.
Julia, I'm going to start with you.
Your vote, Julia.
Oh, mine? Oh, yes.
Jen?
Sorry, I didn't hear my name.
Yes.
Dana's yes. Amy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
All right, and that is unanimous of the 5 members present, and the motion passes. And we will review that 45 days or more. Okay. All right, next up. So this is next year's 25-26 school committee meeting schedule. I'm hoping that you all had a chance to review the schedule and identify any concerns or questions. I know I did identify a couple of things I wanted to address. I don't know if other people had any dates on there for next year that they wanted to ask a question or raise a concern.
Nope.
So far away.
Okay, it is.
It's not
Okay,
really.
all right, well, you're ready for me then. Okay, so Thursday, October 2nd, 2025 is Yom Kippur.
Okay.
I did my research, though. It ends at sunset, sunset's at 6:23. I feel like we're okay.
Why we put it there.
Yeah, so I just
Yep.
want to make sure that
Yep.
everyone feels comfortable with that, and also sort of to the general public, like, we're far out from that, please send us information if
Absolutely.
you feel uncomfortable with that date. Similarly, December 18th is the 5th night of Hanukkah. I, from my experience, felt comfortable with that. It's not the only night of Hanukkah, certainly, but again, just putting that out there. I don't know if anyone. Then I had a question on why, I know why we have the February 18th date. I understand why we have that. So everyone, that's an if-needed date. Everybody knows that that's, that we need, it's for budget, that we build in an extra meeting if needed in case something goes awry. We've had it happen sometimes where weather is a problem. We've had a snowstorm, things like that. There's a problem and we need to vote. But I'm wondering, why is it on Wednesday, February 18th, and not Thursday, the 19th? Is that?
Because the number of days before
Okay,
town
that's what
meeting.
I.
Yeah,
that's
it's in
what
the
I
regional
thought. I was
agreement.
like, ooh, that's, yeah.
That was a gimme, Dana.
I know, but I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just a mistake, because I was like, well, I know that this
Yeah.
year it was a Thursday. Like, it was and I was like, we were able to get a whole weekend this year.
It's good to point it out, though, so
Yeah.
people understand why.
Yep.
And my second reason for asking that is because it's Ash Wednesday.
And I might not be able to make it that Wednesday.
Because it's Ash Wednesday?
No, because
Well,
I
you don't
teach,
have to say why.
I
Because
it's
teach on
Wednesday.
Wednesday nights in Boston.
So again, this meeting is an emergency kind of
I know.
situation
Yeah.
meeting.
Yep.
So, I don't believe that there's a requirement that you not participate in the evening. I'm not sure, again, please, if you, members of the public, let us know. Huh? Excellent. But anyway, any members of the public has a concern with that day, again, that is an emergency if needed date anyway, but did want to highlight that. That's all I have. Anybody else have anything?
It's a lot.
We're going
I had a lot of things to say, I guess.
No, I,
to deal with the 20th after, right?
What?
We'll deal with the 20th later in the,
This year?
yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about this? What are you talking
Retreat.
about? Oh.
We'll deal with
no,
that
I'm glad-
later in the meeting.
Oh, well, no, we might as well do it now.
Yeah, I would say it's on D.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, yes,
It's D.
yes.
No, it's not D,
No, it's,
sorry.
right.
It just needs to be
So,
discussed.
no, I'm glad that you brought that up. So we had a few scheduling conflicts. You'll see later on, there's an actual scheduling conflict. At the very first meeting there, Wednesday, August 20th, Thank you, Eric.
Yes.
That was our retreat date, and that's one of those things, you knew it was too easy when we were able to.
It was way too easy.
It was way too easy. So that is now not a great date. We have a committee member and Eric both now have a conflict
Okay.
on that day.
So do we want to pick a new date now,
So
or?
alternative, well, there's two things we need to do. One, eventually we need to vote on something, but this is on this calendar, so we do need to, I'm glad you brought it up because we do need to discuss it now.
Okay.
We can try, we're missing, well, we won't have Trent anyway, so we're really just missing David.
David, yeah.
Yep.
We can try to throw out a couple of other dates, and then if not, again, as I like to talk about that open meeting law, the one thing you're allowed to talk about as much as you want to is scheduling. So we could talk about that offline, scheduling. But does anyone want to throw out a date that might work? Eric, do you want to throw out a date that might work?
I mean, if you want to go the next day, I don't know if people can do that,
I
but
leave for-
schools,
21st?
Stay for Chicago.
About the 18th.
we have
away
new
that
teacher
day.
orientation. the
I'm away.
19th.
Okay.
She is away.
Send out a doodle
I was just
poll.
going to say earlier.
Yeah.
We'll send something out.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll take it.
Okay, so Amy is going to take that on and try to get a retreat date.
Technology.
And I guess I would,
Do we want to do like a doodle poll?
Yeah.
Do you know what that
Amy's
is?
gonna
That's a
do
great
it.
idea.
good idea. No,
Because that's when you can like
head.
vote. Yeah, I
no,
don't
no, no,
know.
Amy, that's what Amy just said. I don't think
Amy
you
will
could hear.
take
Amy
that
just
on.
said she's going to send out.
Oh, I
some-
didn't hear.
That's okay.
That's
Great
okay.
mind.
She was, yeah, so we'll send out, Amy will send out a doodle poll, we'll get a date. So that means, David, that if you're looking at the, this list, it would be without that top line.
Okay. That makes sense.
You ready for me to be ready?
I'm just excited
All
to
right.
hear it.
I thought she was ready to do
I
it.
was like, all right, you can do it. I moved that the Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee vote to approve the school committee meeting schedule, excuse me, as presented in tonight's agenda, with the exception of the Wednesday, August 20th, 2025 retreat date.
Second.
Second by Jen Carr. All right, any discussion? Okay, looks like we're ready to vote. Jen?
Yes.
Dan is yes. Amy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Julia?
Yes.
Okay, and that is unanimous of the 5 members present, and the motion passes. And Amy will be getting to us with a poll of some sort to figure out what to do.
Will do.
Okay. So next up is the composite superintendent evaluation. It's a draft. I just want to make sure that everyone here got an opportunity. Did you get the, I know that there was a little bit of logistics problems getting them open, that you got the individual evaluations and were able to see them. Is that, yes? Julia?
Yep.
Okay.
I got it.
No.
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 I got them, but I couldn't open them, and I'd already left the house by the time I got,
Janelle's.
yeah.
You can open Janelle's, though, the
I
one.
can open
Okay,
Janelle's, I just
okay.
didn't get a chance to review it in
So,
advance.
so that is my apology. I tried my hardest to get it out in a format that people could read it.
That had to be my fault. I apologize as well because I did this a different way this year and I hit every sort of roadblock imaginable. And I'm sorry I got late to you. Excuse me, to you guys so late. And I think that sort of also helped with the.
Yeah, well, I learned a new skill, but apparently I didn't do it quite.
I don't think it was that.
So anyway, so I don't know quite where, I mean, I don't know quite where we want to start. David, do you want to start? And then-
So I guess I could suggest just sort of going through this. I guess it's a little, we have to just move on with only 5 of us here, but there's no reason why I shouldn't just read through this at this point and we can have a discussion and just get it over with. unless
Yeah.
you disagree.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I've been talking a lot. I do have some thoughts. I don't know if other people,
I have some thoughts. It's kind of like small feedback, but on some of the spots, I feel like maybe there's something missing. Like, for example, page 5, you have like a bunch of quotes, and then at the bottom, there's like feedback such as, and
And then it's blank.
And
That
there's
was what I was
nothing.
gonna.
so, you know, I just want to make sure we're giving Eric feedback that's actionable and not mysterious.
No,
So I wonder if it's just worth like, I don't know if maybe it's the PDF and not what you sent. But I feel like there's some missing items just because I feel like there's not a lot of actionable stuff in here.
yeah, let's go over that then.
so, yeah, let's take a moment. I guess that was sort of my,
Same one,
I
8
might-
out of 10. It like ends
page eight,
halfway
yeah.
through the sentence.
yeah. And I guess that's sort of my feeling too, is that,
Yeah.
I don't say we shouldn't go through it, we can go through it, but overall, I guess my feedback is, while I didn't feel, I didn't read anything that I thought was off base or incorrect, but I did feel like it was sort of not complete, like it feels, I wondered if there was more to it. It feels like there's a lot of generalities, and I did, so I just don't know if we're ready to do it or if we need some more time.
Well, all right. I mean, this just goes back to what I was sort of saying earlier, where I did it a different way, and everything sort of got messed up along the way. But like hearing this feedback, I'm definitely, I feel that I should go back and just sort of do it how I've always done it. And I apologize, that it's just gonna have to take an extra meeting to do. I apologize to you, Eric. Things just got sort of busy, and I tried to expedite the process, and it just didn't work out right.
All right. Well, I don't know what, and I do want to say, David, that I did sort of look at the, like the check marks. I think they're accurate. Like, I don't think there's, I don't think it's inaccurate. So I'm not saying that. So, I mean, I don't know what what are you looking at? What would be,
Well, it's.
like, is it helpful for us to go through it together? Would you rather go back and bring it back on the final day, like, meeting?
Well, so, I mean, I'll tell you what happened. I ran it through an AI analyzer, right, and had it actually summarize it for me this year, which is something I'd done a little bit in the past, but this time I just sort of let it run all the way through, and then I sent you a version of it, and then in that process, we realized that the quotes that it had pulled out weren't quotes, but paraphrases of things that were quotes. So I went back and changed the quotes, but in doing that, I think I just ended up
Right, and
truncating some of the.
And potentially compounded, perhaps, I'm not sure, by, well, I guess maybe, I don't know, I don't know if there's some just formatting issues, like that happened when I was trying to send the individuals.
Oh, that was the other thing too, and I was going to get you into the dynamics of PBD High's online systems, but I can't use this computer on their internet system.
Yeah.
So I had to use their computer, but it didn't have all the programs that I normally use. Then I had to use like all the knockoff Adobe programs and stuff to build everything, which might have been the PDF problem.
Could be.
So, and that's, it also made it really
I know.
far more difficult to edit than it should have been. So this is
So-
a huge, huge, huge learning curve for me.
So I
Will
guess
not be making that mistake
My
again.
question is, my hesitancy about,
Extending.
like, I just want to
Yeah.
make sure we get this done.
Yeah,
It's
no, I
really
completely
important.
agree.
I'm glad that Eric now has the 7 individual, because I think, in my opinion, having read the 7, I think they provided some more sort of nuanced and diverse opinions that are important. Like, it's important to hear that, like, it's not just sort of like a bland, it's a little more nuanced than that, and I think it's good, but we need the composite to reflect that nuance a little bit. So I guess I'm at a loss about what's the best way to guarantee that we get this done. Keeping in mind that if you look at item D under new business, there is a scheduling conflict on our final day. So, like,
You know,
like,
so-
would it be helpful to have somebody?
Well, here's what's going on. Now I'm looking at the actual, I'm basing this off the PDF. This didn't print all of everything that was written.
Okay,
So this box.
It ended at the box,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
Should be extended. All right, that makes sense. So I'm like, how did I miss that? Not saying I couldn't, but
right. So you're, and that's part of what happened to, I think, to like Jen was seeing, when she was looking at the individual evaluations, she wasn't seeing the same thing that I was seeing on my screen when I was sending it to her. Like, I was seeing all seven. I imagine you were seeing mine repeated over and over again, which is what David Frankel told me. He was like, I see 7 copies of one person's evaluation.
sometimes Adobe does not like to
Okay.
play well with others.
So what is our, I don't want to speak for everyone, you can overrule me, but for me, I would like an action plan on what date we're going to see a draft and how we're going to get
Well,
it done.
So now this sort of changes everything a little bit too, though, because now the information is here. That it's in more, that what you guys are sort of stating that you're worried about, it just didn't print for whatever reason, which means you guys didn't see it in the PDF. And I don't know why that is. Because it's I'm opening the PDF that I sent you.
You can see something different than.
Yeah, but it's the one that I sent you. I'm not even looking at mine. I'm looking at the one that I sent you.
Well, at the bottom of whatever page that she just said, does it just end there?
Combined eval, no.
Page 5 and page 8 just end.
So. Page 5 is the one I was just looking at. And I'm opening another version just to check.
If you click on the box, all the text gets really tiny and condensed in the box.
See, so I didn't obviously do that, so. Okay, so,
Now my panic attack and stuff.
Don't panic.
I'm glad we're having this conversation, it's a technology
I know this
issue.
didn't go smoothly, but I was just like mortified that it went that bad.
Okay, so I still, unfortunately, I don't think we can, well, I don't know.
Yeah,
You say what you think is the best thing. to do.
So, I mean, I do think, let's discuss this, what we have sort of here. You know what, I can read through this,
Okay,
make sure we send it out
okay,
again,
yeah,
so everyone can make sure
Okay.
we see it with sort of the directions, click on the link to expand, so that way we're having the conversation, we're not kicking the can.
Okay.
And then if there's any sort of other feedback, and
So
then,
wait, I
and
just
then I
wanna-
think we should be able to vote it in the next meeting.
at the next meeting. Okay, let me just make sure that
And I think
that's,
that's fair to Eric.
I just want to make sure that
work for you?
I'm using the one that's on the agenda.
But it's in the browser, so it might not,
Oh, I have to
you
open it.
might need to download it into Acrobat.
I'm not even in Acrobat.
Is it
I'm just in
working on the
OneDrive.
browser?
Yeah.
But it's all, your text is really tiny, for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
no, it is, but like,
That's the whole point of PDFs, they're supposed to just show the way that you made them.
but it's, again, I didn't do it in Acrobat,
Oh, you made a PDF from what Word?
so
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever I was in that, yeah,
Yes.
I'm not sure that I'm actually smart enough to get it to do that.
we have faith in you.
I'm downloading.
Right-click on that download, or click on the, yeah,
Yes?
right-click on that, or click, control-click, open
Yep,
that
yep,
little
yep.
download
All right, hold on, I'm just having a,
window. Open with Acrobat. Can't see it.
it doesn't offer that. New window, incognito window.
Click on the little download tab. And then right-click.
No.
Sorry, you have to
Sorry.
not click on the name of the file.
Yes?
Right-click there. Open with,
Showing.
viewer might work. it may open in preview, but,
Okay.
or you can click on that little folder to open in Acrobat. Yes.
There we go. All right. All right. So Julia, are you able to look at this document in Acrobat where you can see, like if you click on the, are you able to, yeah, I don't even know how to ask the question.
Yeah, well, I downloaded it and did the PDF thing.
Okay. All right. And Jen, you're able to see it all? Okay. Sorry all that you had to wait for my technology issues. All right. I need a glass of water.
Fair. That's
Okay, David, go.
Kick out my gum, sorry. Excuse me. Excuse me. So go through Eric Tracy's summative evaluation. He has been found to have met all of his standards. So we'll just go through one by one and just what I have together. So step one, assess progress towards goals, right? Professional practice goals came out as met. Student learning goals, met. District improvement goals, met. All right, step two, assess performance on standards, referencing performance ratings per standard. Standard one, instructional leadership has been found proficient. Standard two, management and operations has been found proficient. Standard 3, family and community engagement has been found proficient. And Standard 4, professional culture has been found proficient. The overall summative performance in Step 3, proficient. Some evaluator comments. Superintendent Tracy's performance during the 2024-2025 cycle was consistently rated as proficient by all evaluators. I thought I'd change that wording. He demonstrated effective leadership in district management, operations, and communication while advancing district priorities and maintaining a steady focus on student safety and achievement. His commitment to transparency and responsiveness has been evident throughout the year as noted by committee members. Some quotes include, "The number of hours that Eric Tracy spends working for the students of our district is extraordinary. He's the model for other superintendents to follow. He continually returns focus to students, whether talking about new building project, curriculum, budgeting, staffing, collective bargaining, or replacing a boiler. Superintendent Tracy is an approachable, communicative, and effective in overseeing district operations and projects. His leadership style encourages collaboration, and he consistently seeks input from the committee and staff. Eric Tracy demonstrates dedication and professionalism in leading the district. He has shown strength in capital planning and has prioritized safety and communication. Eric continues to guide the district capably through ongoing projects and operational challenges. His efforts to maintain communication and foster positive relationships with the community are appreciated. Superintendent Tracy effectively balances long-term district goals with daily management needs. He maintains positive relationships with staff and community. Opportunities for growth remain, particularly in the proactive use of data to address student performance trends and closing achievement gaps between schools." A couple quotes there. I'm sorry.
Oh, do you see more?
Yep.
Oh, it is more. Sorry. Continuing to click. Click.
Yes. There are areas of continued growth, especially in the use of data, to identify emerging trends in student performance, especially with one elementary school's consistent underperformance. And ongoing work in instructional leadership and closing achievement gaps remains important. Excuse me.
Would it, I don't want to,
Yep.
but would it be okay to, like, take it section by section, like if anyone has any
Sure.
comments on that section?
Sure.
I have one quick comment, but I'll let other people. So if, I don't know, Julia, I don't know if you can hear, but just, I was just
I can
asking
hear, I can hear.
if it's okay with the committee if we do sort of section by section, if people have a comment or a question.
I don't have a question. I did read through it, and of course, I didn't read every individual evaluation before and then read it and then try to compare it all. But I do feel seen in this evaluation, so.
Do you do or you do not?
She does.
She does.
Okay, I
Correct?
just wanted-
You do.
I do feel seen.
Yeah.
Dave, I feel seen.
So, you know I see you, Julia.
I know.
No,
I think, yeah. I also think, yeah, AI tools hallucinate and they give us the answers that we want. So nothing is perfect, but I felt very seen. I didn't have any real problems with it. So, and I can hear you as well.
Good. I just had on this particular part, I just wanted to say, I really have a concern about the first line.
I thought I had actually changed that.
Because that's actually not correct. There was a diversity of ratings. They weren't all proficient. Some of them were exemplary, some of them were proficient, some of them were needs improvement. So that's kind of what I was sort of saying about hoping that we could have a little more of the nuance reflected.
Yeah. And like I said, I actually thought, because I remember you and I actually speaking about that, and I thought I actually came up with a different sentence, and I just might not have actually written it down. But I hear you, and I actually, as soon as I reread that, I remember that conversation.
And I know we're going to keep going, but I want to reflect that I felt like a lot of the quotes reflected, and to Julia's point, I felt seen, like they reflected my thoughts. At the same time, I felt like some of the quotes, I had a hard time finding who actually said them. Like I
had thought
really-
about actually, because I went in and I pulled them out myself by hand, and I was going to actually,
I'm not
Put a
saying that it should
footnote,
say
but-
who said them. What I'm saying is I'm not sure all of these quotes, I wasn't really able, I might be wrong, but I was like, I feel like some of them are still
in the second
paraphrased.
version I sent you.
Yeah, but of course, had some technical difficulties with it, so
I
we'll
kind
see.
of got the same sense too, like, again, like, the overall sentiment feels correct. Or, I see
Right.
things that I
There we go.
reference in there, but like, not actual quotes.
Yeah.
So,
Like, in other words, I can't remember which one, but there was one that I was like, oh, I wonder who said that, and I went looking for it, and I couldn't find it. I found that people said similar things, but, so I guess I wondered if we just want to make
Yeah.
double check that, like, it's in quotes, so it should be a direct quote. Somebody should actually have said exactly that. Otherwise, it should just be rewritten in a like a paragraph instead of a direct quote.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I do want to keep going because I don't want to spend
No,
forever on this.
this is what I need for notes. All right, so moving on to the next section. Student learning goal, number 1, multi-tiered system of support, MTSS. Found that you've met the standard. Professional practice goal 2, evaluate and update current district-wide multi-hazard response plan. You have met that goal as well. Goal number 3, district improvement goal, complete educational plan for Bucher pre-K and K. Excuse me. You met that goal as well. And then District 4, district improvement plan, manage multiple building construction projects throughout the school year. You've met that as well.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Just on professional practice goal 2, the PsyOps plan is here if you want to see it. It's not for public consumption because it's how we respond to different emergencies. But it's here if you want to see it. I kind of said, oh, it's all set, it's almost
Yeah.
done. So I just wanted to bring a copy so people knew it was actually done.
And that would be available, like we could get that from Janelle at your office if we wanted to see it at a different time, or?
Yep.
Is that open to everybody?
No.
Yeah, all right.
No, it's just we got to keep it in house. We have to keep it in
So I
house.
just want to make sure that was clear to.
Yep.
Yeah,
N-
no.
not anyone
Right,
can
no,
just
because
stop
it
that
has
and see it.
response to dangerous situations.
Yeah.
Right. Excuse me. Superintendent's performance rating for Standard 1, instructional leadership. Section 1A, curriculum, ensures that all instructional staff design effective and rigorous standards-based units of instruction consisting of well-structured lessons with measurable outcomes. You've been found proficient. Data-informed decision, 1E, data-informed decision-making. used multiple sources of evidence related to student learning, including state, district, and school assessment results and growth data to inform school and district goals and improve organizational performance, educator effectiveness, and student learning. Been found proficient. And 1F, student learning, demonstrates expected impact on student learning based on multiple measures of student learning, growth, and achievement, including student progress on common assessments and statewide student growth measures where available. Also been found proficient. And, and then overall rating was proficient. So some comments. Superintendent Tracy maintained a strong, proficient level of instructional leadership throughout the year, focusing on supporting building-level leaders and implementing rigorous standards-based instruction across the district. The committee recognized his commitment to improving curriculum delivery and supporting staff with resources and guidance needed to meet district goals. I'm laughing because my eyesight's getting worse and worse as I go. Oh, I brought my glasses, yes. And they're new, you could tell because the sticker's still on them. Oh, that's better. All right. The committee members commented that MTSS has been ongoing and effective in supporting the student learning. New math curricula were introduced in elementary and high school, and Mr. Tracy actively monitors these new programs with data as well as direct observations during frequent walkthroughs. Instructional leadership has improved under Eric's direction with strong support for teachers and effective and aligned curriculum. Eric supports instructional leadership across the district, is visible in schools, and collaborates with staff and curriculum assessment goals. Maintaining high expectations and ongoing support for school leaders has been a strength. At the same time, some members of the committee highlighted growth opportunities in deepening data-driven decision-making and proactively addressing achievement gaps with feedback such as there's continued need for improvement in data-driven decision-making, especially around addressing uneven school-level outcomes. The superintendent should focus more on using data proactively to address performance gaps between schools, ensure earlier interventions were needed.
Right, do people have comments on this section? So I guess my comment is just the same,
Yeah.
sort
Yeah,
of,
I have the same
that I would like it to reflect, like, some member, and I don't actually even know, but like some members actually highlighted or thought this was exemplary. Other members felt like
Okay.
it was,
Yep.
but again, I did feel like, yeah, these are things that I said in general. Anything else? Anybody on this one?
No, I echo your thoughts. Same thing as the first part.
Okay.
All right, so move on to standard 2, management and operations. 2A, environment, develops and executes effective plans, procedures, routines, and operational systems to address a full range of safety, health, emotional, and social needs. It's found proficient. 2D, law, ethics, and policies. Understands and complies with state and federal laws and mandates, school committee policies, collective bargaining agreements, and ethical guidelines. Proficient. And then the overall rating for standard 2, management and operations, is proficient. Superintendent Tracy demonstrates strong operational management throughout the year, effectively overseeing daily district operations, facilities, and the completion of major projects. He was consistently attentive to safety, compliance, and transparent communication with all stakeholders. Eric continues to lead the district through challenging operational issues, including managing the athletic fields project and the school building process. He communicates clearly about safety, budgeting, and capital planning, and collaborates well with town officials. Eric is well organized, transparent, and thorough in managing district operations and facilities. He's proactive in addressing safety and maintenance concerns, keeping the committee and community informed throughout. Eric Tracy has demonstrated excellence in his ability to manage operations. As a small district, he's the face of the projects, large and small. He's patient and thoughtful as he answers questions and listens carefully, even to those with opposing views. And then I have ongoing work in instructional leadership and closing achievement gaps remains important.
All right. Anybody have any comments? Nope.
So for standard 3, family and community engagement, 3A, engagement actively ensures that all families are welcome members of the classroom and school community and contribute to the effectiveness of the classroom, school, and district community. Was found proficient. And the overall rating of standard 3, family and community engagement, was proficient. Superintendent Tracy maintained a high standard of family and community engagement, ensuring regular communication, transparency, and accessibility. His approachable leadership style and willingness to listen to all voices have fostered trust and partnership throughout the district community. Eric's outreach to families and community groups is ongoing and positive. He provides regular updates, hosts forums, and listens to input from all corners of the district. Maintains transparency, especially regarding challenging projects like the new elementary school, ensuring even distractors feel heard. Eric makes himself accessible to the public, answers questions, and provides thorough communication. And Eric maintains positive relationships with the community and is responsive to feedback. He regularly attends events and makes sure families are kept informed and involved.
All right. Anybody?
And in the final, standard 4, professional culture. 4C, communication, demonstrates strong interpersonal, written, and verbal communication skills, found proficient. 4E, shared vision, successfully and continuously engages all stakeholders in the creation of a shared educational vision in which every student is prepared to succeed in post-secondary education and become a responsible citizen and global contributor. Found proficient. And an overall rating for standard 4, professional culture, proficient. Superintendent Tracy has fostered a positive and collaborative professional culture across the district. He models high standards, encourages reflective practices amongst staff, and promotes a shared vision to continuous growth and excellence. Eric sets a positive example for staff and students, promotes a growth mindset, and encourages professional development throughout the district. Maintains a high standard of professionalism and fosters a positive district-wide culture, clearly communicates a shared educational vision, and supports reflective practice among staff. And finally, Superintendent Tracy maintains a strong, positive culture. He's dedicated to the mission of the district and continually promotes teamwork, trust, and a shared vision.
Okay. Thoughts on that, comments on that final? No? So I guess, are there any further sort of feedback for David about what we're looking for when it comes back?
I think I have a pretty good understanding on what needs to happen here, and then in rereading it.
I have one more thing. I don't know if anybody else has anything. Do you have anything?
No.
No. So I want to make sure, we have 2 members that aren't here. I don't want to speak for them, but I do want to make sure, and I know that you did a nice job with this last year, that if there are, like if, for example, a single member has, I want to have if they have an outlier view, I guess, if someone has an outlier view, I do want some, it's a tricky thing, but I do want to make sure that there's some acknowledgement of, like, everyone on the committee should see some of their work in here. And I want to make sure that that's true, and it's difficult because I'm not really speaking for myself. I do see things that I wrote in here, but I want to make sure that everybody is, so I'm not saying it's not there, I just want to make sure that it is.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay. So what's our plan? We're going to bring it back?
I'll edit this, take the feedback, edit it, get it back out to you
All
guys.
right. And I think it would be really helpful to get it back as soon as possible so that we can,
Heard.
so we don't have technology issues for one thing.
Marriage graduated, so no more of that getting in the
So
way.
when can we expect to get this?
I'll try and, I'll get it done this weekend.
So the committee would get it on the,
Monday.
by the 9th?
Monday,
That's a big day, you know, the 9th.
So. Why, what's going on?
Oh, nothing. Okay, so David will send this out by the 9th to everybody, and I just really encourage everyone to, like, open it, read it, come really prepared, because we're going to need to move it through at the next meeting, hopefully. Is that good? Everybody's good? Is there anything you need assistance-wise? Like, you want anybody to, we could appoint you a partner, or we could,
No.
I can't get you a new computer, it's not.
Not my computer's fine, it's the technology where I work. I'm just gonna do it at home, and it'll take me an hour as opposed to 10.
Okay. All right, thank you all for being my tech support while we got through that. Mostly you, Amy, thank you. All right,
Pay the big bucks.
yeah, that's right. All right, so David Polito will submit by the 9th.
How to use my name?
Huh? Okay. Next up is the district's goals. I'm sorry, Eric, I didn't even let you. Did you want to?
Oh, I'm good.
Did you want to talk?
Here to
Wait,
talk
no,
about you
I'm
for an
good.
hour.
Get to
You'll-
talk next time, too. We
You'll
don't-
get
we do.
nothing unlike it.
But did you,
I am good for now. Thank you.
I was very focused, I'm sorry.
I know.
Right. District goals report. You're all gonna be happy to know I have notes. I have a nightmare tonight.
No.
Thank you very much. The district goals report is a compilation of the goals that we set back in August of last year. We've asked the leadership team to sit down and go through each of the goals. Some were assigned specific goals, and some were assigned just to assist in gathering information and data. So it's pretty lengthy. I think it's 31 pages long, but it really comes down to a number of interesting tidbits, like finally moving to integrating the portrait of a learner across the district and working. Secondary school has a deeper connection to this because of their accreditation. Their accreditation is based on this and the success of finally measuring it. So they've been doing this for a couple of years. Middle school has started to kind of move up the grid with it, focused on the communicate segment of it, and then really working with the elementary to help connect the responsive classroom and their CAS values in each of the schools to the portrait of a learner has been a little bit tricky, but we're still working towards figuring through that. Also in the report, the MTSS structures continue to strengthen. As you know, we integrated Eureka Math 2, and that was really instrumental in driving academic growth at the elementary level. It was interesting to see that 81% of our elementary students met their mid-year benchmarks for math, which is not usual for us, so that's nice. And then even on the CKLA side, kids in Tier 2 sports are showing strong growth as well. The other piece of that puzzle has been the WIN block, the implementation of WIN block, which I have to say publicly that I was skeptic of, but it is really helping to target academic supports and give people opportunities to meet with kids individually without pulling them from their Tier 1 instruction. The report also talks about some of the Tier 2 interventions. We really try to focus on that as part of this multi-year plan. And Tier 2 really is the area we want to focus now, because we feel like we have the CKLA curriculum in place, Eureka Math curriculum in place, that Tier 1, if you will. The Tier 2 are the kids that may still need some assistance along the way. And then giving them access to the things grade level appropriate is what we really keep trying to focus on, and make sure kids have access to grade level materials, which in the past, previous to this MTS structure, wasn't always true. We had implementation of different curricula across a number of the schools, including the trial of HMH at the middle school, the ELA curriculum, And then Reveal Math at the high school, which was supported by the Alex support system with Star Math as the performance tracker. We feel like we're using student growth data better because we have more longitudinal data that has helped us to understand how kids are moving across the school year spectrum, using things like STAR, iReady, Early Bird, and DIBELS to track literacy, math, and even intervention opportunities. And that goes all the way up through the high school, so that's been helpful. One of the highlights of that is the sixth grade students in the Miles River Middle School showed a fairly substantial jump from 51 to 80% up at or above grade level, which is a huge jump for us. Executive functioning supports have really been a goal of the high school, but we all are starting to look at them at the different grade levels and really trying to, in the 9th grade, help kids to have this common toolbox, if you will, so that they have structured routines, agenda books, and that consistency through Power Block with check-ins. Middle school is also doing that with structured routines and really trying to help kids to get organized earlier on so that they're not stuck in 10th or 11th grade trying to figure out how to organize all their things. We also worked with the Department of Education, the teacher rubric, integrating that. We made sure we shared the crosswalk with our teaching staff through department meetings, faculty meetings, working with the principals and trying to make sure that everybody had it, understood it, knew the differences. And right now, as I'm writing the principal evaluations, I'm looking back at what they wrote related to this new rubric so that I can get an idea of where they are as well. So that'll be interesting. But it was one of those things that we weren't sure exactly how to do it, and just before school started, DESE came out with this crosswalk that was super helpful to make these things a little bit easier for everybody and put everybody on the same playing field. In the area of technology, we rolled out a number of enhancements, including that E911 that we've been trying to implement. We will have that up and running fairly soon. Chromebooks will be selected for use at middle school. We're going to stop using like iPads one year, Chromebooks another year, so we really looked at Chromebooks. That's also a cost saver for us. The nice thing about interactive smartboards, as you know, we've been, for the past 3 years, putting them into all of our schools. They are standard in classrooms. And we're also taking advantage of that to use digital assessments from any of the curriculum that we purchase has digital packages that we can use, both for teaching and for assessment. And then the bigger push is the progress on capital projects. We had the elementary school project moving forward this year. The athletic facilities project currently is under budget and targeted to be complete right around mid-August, just before our fall seasons begin. They're putting down the track. Today they were putting down the track when I was up there, so that's kind of interesting to watch. High school roof project, we have been assigned an OPM and a designer by MSBA. We haven't really gone much further than that other than to walk the roof and get an idea of the scope of the project. So the OPM will give us a draft of their what they believe it'll cost them to do their work, and then this designer will do the same. We negotiate with them through the MSBA. And then the capital improvement plan, as you know, is up and running this year. Principals have weighed in and continue to weigh in, and we'll evaluate that late August, early September, so that we have things ready for the budget, the capital budget, when we start to look at the FY27 school budget.
Thank you.
Yep, just some highlights.
Okay. Questions for the superintendent on that?
I actually did have one. Why did we decide to go with Chromebooks instead of Apple? Chromebooks go out of date and non-functional so much sooner.
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons. Chromebooks function for us on our quote native platform when we're using Google much more cleanly. They're a little bit easier for us to manage because of that, because we manage it through the Google dashboard. It's also a lot more inexpensive. It's about almost half the price, maybe slightly under
Right,
half,
but you're
I think it is.
replacing
Yeah.
them twice as often.
Yeah, and then we also use them, they're much easier to use also with requirements for MCAS.
That
Which is-
answers my question.
The iPads have been problematic for MCAS.
Yeah, no, I heard that.
Do you have other questions? Anybody else? Julia?
I just have a question. Just only because I just know someone in this situation, but it's great to see that, we're growing sort of in math performance at the middle school, but it really looks like students with IEPs, especially, I think I saw like in the 7th grade are really having a tough time kind of catching up. So I guess I'm just wondering, is there anything we can do as a committee? Do we need additional supports or staffing? Like, what else can we do to help these students
Yep, so it's part
sort
of,
of catch up?
it's a great question. It's part of the conversation we started having with the leadership team as we saw these data sets get completed to
Yeah.
look back. We set that goal through our student, our SOA that we filed with the state is one of the focus groups is the students with disabilities. And that part of that process has been tracking them over multiple years, but also trying to hone in on what we're missing. And we realize that some of our moderate supports are will need to be tweaked so that they better align with and understand the current literacy model using CKLA. We have two kind of side-by-side models, so a child would have CKLA in the classroom, but then when they get pulled out for supports, they're using Orton Gillingham, which is a little bit of a different approach. It's a very different approach, actually. So we're going to look at that as a whole, starting right through the elementary school, and try to figure out how that we can better train our moderate special ed staff, and also look at interventions and how those are occurring for kids with disabilities, and making sure that we're approaching it the right way. There's a lot of work to do in that
Thank
area,
you.
and that's one of the focus areas
Yeah.
for our goals that you'll see come next meeting. You'll see when we bring the goals, that's one of the highlight goals.
Thank you.
Other people?
I don't think so. These are all good questions.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
I have to say, I have lots of notes, but you'll be happy to know you hit lots of them,
Oh,
so
good, okay.
they're not going to be as many at all. One thing I wanted to say was, I was really happy about all the data and connecting the data to action, and I thought it was fantastic. I'm going to be honest that as I read it, I got a little bit anxious about the amount of work and meetings that it requires to do that much crunching of data and using data. And so I guess that's more of a concern for the future, like
Yeah.
about how, I don't know if that's something that you want to address, or it's just a concern, like about how challenging it is, the amount of work that teachers are having to do to collect, analyze, and then implement on the data
Yeah,
processing.
A lot of the collection is what we've looked at over the years through MTSS. When we initially started out, one of the first things we noticed is like, wow, we have a lot of assessment data. We're gathering a lot of data, so we're stopping to gather data far more often than we want. Now we do it 3 times a year rather than all throughout the year. And that 3 times allows us to get that data, drop it into one place. We're using technology as much as we can to collect and aggregate the data for us. So really a lot of the things like DIBELS, we get reports that kind of come out the other end for us. So we're not sitting there trying to figure out how to manage the reports. We get these canned reports that give us the information that we want. And if we want to go deeper, we can, really with a click of a few buttons, go deeper. A lot of the work that's done goes through Director of Curriculum and Teaching and Learning, Jen Clifford's office, and she works with the coaches and the principals, and they generally manage that stuff once the teachers do the assessments, and then develop those conversations. Like they'll analyze the data initially and try to figure out, okay, what are the salient points that we need to hit with our 30-minute meeting that we have for data, data meeting with grade level teams, for instance. So we're getting better at it.
Yeah, I was really pleased with the content of like how you were using the data
Yeah.
and the meetings and the data collection, but I really did there was a part of me that was like, wow, this is
Yeah.
a lot for,
There's kind of a sub-team when you think about, we have really 4 people that are the 3 coaches at one at each school, And then the person above them who's doing all the, literally looking at all the interventions and designing interventions and pushing them towards the intervention specialists. And then you go to the next layer of the ESPs and what we call the LAC, which are literacy interventions. So a lot of that's being done by that group, done and managed by that group, so that's helpful. You know, teachers aren't having to create data, they're not creating spreadsheets, they're not sitting there looking at a spreadsheet trying to find something. So a lot of that work's done ahead of time.
Okay. Thank you. Then, again, you touched on a lot of the things that I wrote about, which is great.
I did that purposefully.
Yeah, you were reading my scribbles over here. I came away from the report, this is just really maybe just a me thing that I can address, realizing I don't have as complete an understanding of our new sort of capital plan that we're, but my understanding is that some of that is going to come in August
Yep.
that we're going to get. So I'm not going to worry about it for now, but I'm just like,
Yeah.
I realized that in reading this, I was like, you know what, I don't actually have a really super clear vision of how the flow is going to work. And
Yeah.
how-
Yeah. To simplify it, it's really gathering the data, which Curtis is sent out to the principals and district leaders to be able to say, okay, what are the big items? We gather that data, bring that data to the committee, prioritizing that data, getting
The
some.
subcommittee.
To the subcommittee, yep. Prioritizing that data, and then getting kind of high-level pricing so we can move forward into the budget process with some
Yeah.
actual numbers.
Yeah, so anyway, I look forward to hearing more about
Yep.
that in August, because as I was reading it, I was like, yeah, maybe I'm not as clear on this as
Yeah,
I thought.
and the subcommittee is a nice group of both school-side people and town-side
Yeah.
people, so that would be helpful
Yeah.
too. That gives them a little bit more transparency into the process.
Okay. Thank you. Jen?
Jen?
I notice we're focusing on positive metrics, which is great, but is there a group of students that this MTSS is just not working for?
Yeah, we just talked about kids with disabilities are struggling with the interventions that they're currently getting, so we're looking at how we can make adjustments to better meet their needs, because we're clearly not. It says it several times through this report, and
Yeah.
Zach talks about it a lot in the middle school piece, and I think, you know, we see that at every single level, and you'll see that. I mean, we see it in our MCAS data, we see it in our assessment data, so the bigger question is, how can we make the shift to help kids who are sometimes 2 or 3 years behind access that grade level curriculum? So that's what we're really wrestling with a little bit right now. We have some ideas that we think will work. It's just a matter of, we really need to retrain some staff and then really redeploy some other staff so that we can focus more deeply on that. I mean, some kids come in your class and they're already at the blue level, you know, you don't really worry about them, and then some come in at the bottom at that red level, and you're really working hard. Teachers work hard to get those kids move forward, and a lot of those teachers take the interventions personally, where they keep the kids during their intervention time and work with them because they feel like that's my responsibility, I got to do that. But we're also looking at the moderate supports. When a child's taken from a classroom, what's happening and how is it aligning with what's happening in the classroom? Where we've seen that positively is with our Ls. Our L teacher is in the classrooms, specifically understands the lesson that maybe happening in CKLA. She'll take that same exact lesson and break it down in the support. So that's something we need to look at for our special ed students. Yeah, it's a big concern for us. You'll see that goal probably #1 next year. It's a really big concern.
Thank you. Other people?
This is really, a lot of really specific details and like things to look out for coming up, so this is great.
It gives us a baseline, but also gives us an opportunity to look towards some other changes that we'll need to make as we move forward, especially with MTSS. We've, go back 3 years when we started this. We said it's going to be 5 to 7 years to get this up and running, and we've been really working hard with our staff. Our teaching staff and our support staff has been really working hard to not only put in a new curriculum again with the Eureka Math, but also trying to figure out the ways to best support kids whose skills may be 2 or 3 grade levels behind in some cases. So it's a fascinating thing to look at and dig through. So.
Thank you for that. There's a lot of work went into our district goals this year. That
Yeah, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, you know, everybody's talking about, oh, the elementary school, but there's
Right.
actually a lot of
Lot of
other
other
things
things.
going on in the
lot of
district,
other
so.
things. Fun. Thank you very much for
You're
that.
welcome, thank you.
Next up is pretty straightforward, but we do need to figure it out. So we have a conflict. Our final meeting of the year, which we do need to have, we have things on, that need to be on that agenda, is scheduled for June 26th. The town of Hamilton has a town meeting that night. So,
Is that actually posted yet?
yes.
Yes.
It is, okay.
It's at 6:30 PM
Is-
on June 26th.
Is that the school
No,
vote or
that's for
3A?
3A.
But,
You still want to be there.
correct, we have, it's a town meeting in Hamilton. I'm not even sure that the town clerk would allow us to have a meeting that's, I don't know, I'm not sure. So, we do need to have a meeting. My initial thought was, sort of thought initially that the special town meeting would start at 7 and that maybe we could just start at 6. But it's actually posted for 6:30. It doesn't have an agenda yet, like it's just on the calendar.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the warrant, isn't actually posted yet. So, Eric and I sort of talked about, do people want to look at the early, like the 23rd, 24th, or 25th that week?
I can't do the 23rd or the 25th. I teach those evenings
Okay.
from 4:30 on.
Alternatively, I mean, we could try to just make it earlier on the 26th. I don't know how people feel about that, or maybe the 24th works, the 24th works for you, right? Maybe the 24th works for everyone. It works for me,
Either of those.
Works for me.
For me, yeah.
24th works for me.
okay? David?
It might not, but
23rd, I'm away.
if the majority,
Right, no,
So-
well, right, and I don't, do we anticipate needing more than a quorum? We don't know. A lot of things depend on a lot of things. Yeah, we don't know.
well, if that was the case, I would make sure I'm here.
Right. So, and we don't have two members here, but I do think it is important for us to pick a date that we can at least, because so I heard the 24th, that works for
Let's do,
4 of us.
I
Right.
might be at UNH, but it's my last day of school, so I might not be at UNH.
Okay. Do we want to say 7 o'clock as usual?
Oh, because, you know what? I could zoom in if I needed to.
You could zoom in, yep.
Okay.
Yes, virtual would be fine. Okay, so let's do that, the 24th.
Okay.
24th at 7 PM?
Correct.
Okay.
And absolutely, there's no reason people can't be virtual if they need to be. All right. I guess we need to take a vote. David?
I move that the Hamilton Wenham Regional School District change our June 26th meeting to Tuesday, June 24th.
Second?
Second by Jen Carr. Is there any other discussion?
No.
All right, Julia?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Jane is yes. Amy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
And that is unanimous of the 5 members present, and the motion passes, and we will get the word out. I will send that out to the committee. We'll post it on switch it up on our calendar.
Yep, Jen will fix it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Next up, we have town meeting logistics. We have a couple of different logistics things that we need to do ahead of town meeting on the 9th. One is, I don't know which one you want to talk about first. We could talk about the paperwork that we need to achieve, and we also have to talk about, we have some, and we also want to talk about having the town meetings simultaneously poses a little bit of a challenge in terms of presentation and who's going to talk. So I don't know which one you want to take on first. Eric.
Let's do the, we need to reauthorize the debt because we're outside of the 60-day window. When you authorize debt, you have for it to be at be presented at a town meeting. So We just need to reauthorize debt. Glad Dave brought his glasses, because he'll have to read that statement
Just
again.
gotta find it. And put a pile of paper on it. There it is.
It's very long. So, just so everyone knows, this is the exact same.
Yep, exactly the
language
same language
voted
on
on.
February 6th.
Right.
It's just reauthorizing it so that we're within the 60-day window of a town meeting. And that was something that we learned today from our bond counsel, but we wanted to make sure that we got this done this evening.
All right, I'm feeling motivated. Here we go. I move that the Hamilton Wenham Regional School District hereby appropriates the amount of $142,266,034 for the purpose of paying costs for designing, constructing, and equipping the new Cutler Elementary School at 237 Asbury Street, Hamilton, Mass., including the payment of all costs incidental or related thereto the project, which school facility shall have an anticipated useful life as an educational facility for the instruction of school children of at least 50 years, and for which the district may be eligible for a school construction grant for the Massachusetts Building Authority, MSBA, said amount to be expended at the direction of the Hamilton Wenham School Building Committee. To meet this appropriation, the district is authorized to borrow said amount under and pursuant to Chapter 71, Section 16D of the general laws and the district agreement, as amended and pursuant to any enabling authority. The district acknowledges that the MSBA's grant program is a non-entitlement discretionary program based on need as determined by the MSBA, and any project cost the district incurs in excess of any grant approved by and received from the MSBA shall be the sole responsibility of the district. Provided further that any grant that the district may receive from the MSBA shall not exceed the lesser of 51.28% of eligible approved project costs, as determined by the MSBA, or 2, the total maximum grant amount determined by the MSBA, in that the amount of borrowing authorized pursuant to this vote shall be reduced by any grant amount set forth by the project funding agreement that may be executed between the district and the MSBA. Further voted that within 7 days from the date of which the vote is adopted, the secretary will be and hereby is instructed to notify the select board of each of the member towns of this district as the amount in general purpose of the debt herein authorized as required by the district agreement and by Chapter 71, Section 16D of the general laws.
Second.
Second by Amy Klimberger. Thank you, David. All right. So, just so everyone is clear, this is the exact same language that we have voted on in February. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, looks like we're ready to vote. David?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Anna's yes. Jen?
Yes.
All right, and that is unanimous of the 5 members present, and the motion passes.
Thank you.
And we
Two.
will send that to the select boards.
Yep, we'll do that tomorrow. I'll have the treasurer send those
Thank
out
you.
tomorrow. We usually hand deliver them, so.
Okay.
Part 2,
Part 2,
logistics.
more
Although
logistics.
maybe we could do it, I can't be split in half and put in 2 places. Because both town meetings are happening at the same time. It's, we tried to get a video, permission to do a video in one of the communities, Wenham, and they denied us the ability. I was gonna just do a video of myself giving the same presentation that I was gonna do in Hamilton. They denied that. They don't wanna go down that road and open up that can of worms, which I kind of understand. So we've been kind of fishing a little bit, trying to figure out how best to do that. So the current plan on the table, if people are okay with it, is our Director of Teaching and Learning, Jennifer Clifford, will do the presentation. She is very familiar with the ed plan, understands the ed plan, and then we'll have Kevin Nigro, our OPM, there for kind of the bigger questions that she may or may not be able to answer. She's already in prep mode, so she'll probably be able to answer them all by the time they're there, but, yeah, in Wenham, so, yeah, it'd be in Wenham. So I'll go to Hamilton and I can manage that. And the Wenham would be Jen doing the presentation, Jen and Kevin, and any of the committee members that are there to answer any questions. If that makes sense with people.
Yeah.
Jen is willing to do that, kind of. No.
It's a little intimidating.
Thank you, Jen. That's amazing.
Yeah.
We put together the presentation, we got the presentation approved. We've submitted to say, these are the people we'd like to have there, and so that's approved. We just need to make sure everybody here is comfortable with that as a. Yep.
If I'm not wrong, I think you also presented additional slides for anticipated
Correct.
questions, which is really, I just want to commend Eric for over-preparing so that there's a presentation, but then there's also, slides for questions that
That may arise.
over and over again that may be asked, that she or any member, anyone
Any
that's
member of the
there
committee
could
can answer
use
to
that slide if need be.
And what I'll do is, the last presentation I did publicly, really the kind of the big questions that have continued to come up, we have those written out. We'll make sure everybody here on the committee has those in hand before that time, so that you can take a peek at those. Those are really the big questions that continue to float around out there, so. And then I'll give everybody the presentation, the actual, we've already written the narrative for it, so all that had to be submitted last week to the two moderators. Moderators have approved them, and now we just want to make sure that people here are comfortable with that approach.
And one more thing I wanted to add is that I did, as the moderator, I was CC'd on the discussion about us sending a video instead, but the moderator did sort of say he already words it as the superintendent or your designee. And so, from the moderator's point of view, if it's your designee, it's your designee, and that's, so it really is just up to make sure that this committee feels comfortable with it.
Yeah.
It sounds like the moderator is comfortable with whoever we send. Anybody? Vote, but we could. My gut might be that you might want to, if we want to vote, my gut might be that we make it general, that it's Eric's designee, just on the off chance.
Yeah, because if something happens,
Yeah.
And see, that,
yeah.
like,
All right, I move the Hamilton-Wenham Regional School District allow Superintendent Tracy to designate the person of his choice to represent, to present, the presentation to Wenham Town Meeting on Monday, June 9th, 2025.
Second.
second by Amy Kumberger.
Just a small amendment, person or persons.
Okay, yeah.
Person or persons.
Yeah, friendly amendment, person or persons.
Sounds good.
You good with that? You
Yeah.
good with that, second lady?
Yes, yes.
All right. Is there any discussion, questions? Okay. Julia?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Dana, yes? Amy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
All right, and that is unanimous of the 5 members present, and the motion passes. Eric can designate the person or people that he wants to
Thank you.
present at the Wenham Town
It's
Meeting.
in very good hands.
Yes.
I have another logistic I
Yep.
just want to bring up.
Go for it.
I will be exiting the meeting very rapidly as soon as the vote is over. Win, lose, or draw, I have Billy Corgan tickets at the Paradise that I spent a small fortune on.
You will need to park strategically.
So I already have the plan. Dante's going to be waiting in a running car outside. So
I'm going to try and make it there, but I teach on Monday nights from 4:30 to 9.
Okay, well, we encourage all eligible voters to be at town meeting.
I wanted to put on the
Humanly
record so to be like, why'd Polino take off?
I will say, just in terms of, while we're just talking about the logistics of the way this works, I do think that Wenham does have some other things on the
Yeah,
agenda,
they have 13
That's what I'm
items.
hoping to
That's
get.
why.
whereas Hamilton does not. So
Yeah, the 2 items in
you should
Hamilton.
have lived in Hamilton.
Move.
Although Hamilton does have 2 votes to take, that
Yeah.
is important for the people of Hamilton to know that there are actually 2 votes. One is on the school building project, but the other is on the extending the lease at the Cutler School, which is
Which
not
the
on the
project
Wenham.
is dependent on.
Which the project is dependent upon, but that is not on the Wenham
Right.
warrant, because it's in Hamilton. Okay. We ready to move on?
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's to you, Vinny.
Yep, so per our bylaw, AAE, the district treasurer shall be appointed annually by the school committee. So this time every year in June, we bring forward for your approval the reappointment of Kevin Mers, our district treasurer, who has been in the role for the past 4 years, as well as our assistant district treasurer, Karina Warner. Both Kevin and Karina have been an integral part of the business office, and it's really without reservation that I recommend both of them be reappointed for FY '26.
Okay. Let's start off with a motion.
Should I do separate or one?
You can do separate.
Right.
Just better safe.
I move the Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee reappoint Treasurer Kevin Murr for the 2025-26
2026.
school year.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Jen Carr. Any discussion? Okay, looks like we're ready to vote. David?
Yes.
Amy?
Yes.
Dana, yes. Jen?
Yes.
Julia?
Yes.
And that is unanimous of the 5 members present, and the motion passes. Back to you, David.
I move that the Hamilton Wenham Regional School Committee reappoint Karina Warner, Assistant Treasurer for the 25-26 school year.
Second.
Second by Amy Kunberger. Is there any discussion? Okay, Julia?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Dana, yes. Amy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
All right, and that is unanimous of the 5 members present, and the motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, committee reports. Capital Finance.
We met on,
Sorry, it was a mosquito.
Tuesday.
I think it was Tuesday, and reviewed the Q4 outlook. No, it was Monday. Vinny said if there are any major changes, he'd let us know.
Great, thank you. Anybody have any questions for capital? Policy?
Still trying to find a time to meet. I sent an email not too long ago asking about the 13th, which is next Friday. Jen, I heard back from you. I don't know if you're available at 2:30.
Superintendent's roundtable.
Okay,
Sorry.
so that's all right. I'll just,
You can send
I
it to me.
will
Keep
send out.
fishing.
What's that?
Keep fishing.
Keep fishing. Maybe I'll send a doodle poll about that too. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I will just put in a plug that I'm still looking for that document.
Yep.
Okay. Cheat sheet I'm looking for. Negotiations.
We've got nothing on the table at the moment.
That's not true.
Next week.
Wait,
We
what?
have a meeting.
Next week?
It's on
Wednesday?
Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys told me. It is not in my calendar.
Oh, no.
Bugs. I'm being,
Yeah. Mosquito.
I have it on, oh, I'm not on the right month, that's why.
Oh, yeah. All right, here we go.
On the 11th.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay,
Right, 3:30.
yep,
You have that one, Dave?
Yeah.
Okay.
yep.
June
3:30,
11th at 3:30.
correct.
All right. Yeah, I don't know why I never put it in this calendar.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
it's okay. I don't think we have a secretary report. We're going to do some executive session minutes in executive session. And,
Yeah, the secretary report, actually, everybody has been really good. We're actually making some progress on that, so I will report that I am getting stuff trickling in.
Yeah, and I guess I will ask for subcommittee meetings moving forward. I would ask that immediately following the subcommittee meeting, if you could send a draft of your minutes immediately to Janelle and just say, this is a draft for the next time we meet. And she will hold them, and then she will put them on your next meeting, whenever that is. Rather than trying to hold them and remember to put them on the meeting, she'll just hold them for you. And while a beautiful draft is better than an ugly draft is better than not having anything. So, okay. Back to you, Eric, for superintendent report.
Okay, great. Back to page 1 of my notes here. We did the school committee reps. We want to double thank you to them, but I also want to say congratulations to the class of 2025. Principal Menegoni and staff put together a fantastic graduation ceremony this past weekend. It was beautiful. We had some fantastic speeches. Maddie Carey's speech was outstanding
Really was.
and amazing at the same time. She did a great job, and it was a nice touch where Brian brought in some of the kids to sing as well, which was a fantastic performance. If you haven't seen it, go to HWCAM and check it out. It's a really nice ceremony, and it was really well done. And again, it was nice to have different groups of kids involved in the ceremony along the way. We graduated 108 kids. Last night we had the underclass awards at the high school. I want to say congratulations to all of the recipients. And then it's tournament time, so good luck to all of our teams that remain in the tournament. Boys tennis, I believe, was playing today, but I haven't got an update yet from them. Girls lacrosse is tomorrow night in Norwell at they play Norwell at Norwell at 4 o'clock. Hamilton Wenham baseball, they'll play Dennis Yarmouth Sunday at 2 at Patton Park. They are the Cal champs again this year. Girls tennis, also Cal champs. They are also in their 4th straight Final Four, and they are waiting for the winner of Linfield Nantucket, which I think was this afternoon as well, to be seeded for their next match. In track team is competing at the MIAA Meet of Champions today and Saturday at Fitchburg State, so we'll be excited to see what's come in. Earlier in the week, Georgia Wilson captured individual championships in both the triple jump and the 100-meter hurdles, setting meet records in each. Georgia's been flying, no pun intended, all year long, and has done a fantastic job in representing General's track. So we're looking forward to what our student athletes will do over this next tournament time. It's always a fun time of the year. Trying to cram them all in is a little hard, but it's a great opportunity for our kids to stay competitive. Dun, dun, and that is all.
All right, thank you. All right, anybody have any questions for Eric? All right, I'm gonna just say nothing on the chair's report because it's getting late and I want you to hear me talk more. People have topics for, well, I mean, I guess I should say, we should all say, town meetings on Monday. Go to town meeting.
Both of them, 6:30.
6:30, both Hamilton and Wenham. Topics for future meetings?
I have the approval of the transportation.
Oh, yeah,
Bid.
That'll be
at the next meeting, yep.
Yep.
The bus transportation contract, right?
Yes.
On the 24th now.
Yes.
Anybody else have topics for future meetings? Okay. If we're ready, I'm going to move into executive session. I move to adjourn into executive session for purpose number 2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel and not to return to open session.
Second.
Second by Amy Kunberger. Julia?
Yes.
Jen?
Yes.
Dana's yes. Amy?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
All right, so we are adjourned into executive session. How do we bring Julia with us?
I'm not going.
With us.
Okay.